Then you have the holiday shows. You're welcoming back the improv troupe Outside Joke for another holiday musical extravaganza.
Mm-hmm.
When you saw them this past year, they performed this past Christmas, what was your impression? I mean, you must have been impressed. You've invited them back, right?
Yeah. They've kind of become another PTE holiday tradition. So they started, I think, 3 years ago. I think this might be their third year. And this is a local improv group. But what they do that is exceptional is that they do long-form improv. Yeah. So there's an intermission. It's like a full evening. Mm-hmm. And what's so incredible about watching them, and so, of course, they take suggestions from the audience of like settings and times and certain questions that the audience suggests. So every night is different, but this troupe understands structure so well and comedy so well, and so you're watching it and you realize, like in the second act, they're bringing back a theme that they had in the first act. What they last Christmas or during the holidays, one of their key members, Paul DeGurse, who is the music director, plays live piano, was out in Halifax doing another production. So he was unavailable. So this year, what we saw was just sort of rom-com. Next year, it will be rom-com with music. Yeah. So this is their other area of expertise, is that they actually invent songs while we're watching. And they're not sort of silly little ditties. These are complex with like bridges and quartets and, coming back to choruses and things like that. And that's all part of the excitement of watching this piece be created live. And it's the sort of show that many audiences come back 2 or 3 times because they see one version, and then the next night there'll be a different set of suggestions from an audience, and it will be a completely different rom-com. So it's really kind of addictive.
Yeah, I interviewed one of the actors for this last season, and she was talking about those callbacks, and it's mind-boggling.
Yeah, they are incredibly gifted. We are very lucky to have them in our community and super thrilled that they're back with us this season.
Mm-hmm. Something else that's happening this Christmas is that you're presenting a family show, really for all ages. Can you talk about the show Munsch Upon a Time? PTE's run it before, right?
Yes. So PTE has this long history since, I think, 1985 of doing Robert Munsch during the holiday season. So there would be a very short show. It's about an hour long, and it includes 5 stories by Robert Munsch. And this production is adapted by Debbie Patterson. So she's a local writer, performer, producer who has adapted many of these Munsch stories. And this particular one is called Munsch Upon a Time. And it's sort of looks at this mad professor who has a time machine, and someone is brought from the past and someone is brought from the future. And through the course of the story, of course, they tell 5 Robert Munsch stories, including the very popular Paper Bag Princess. So it's a great event. Lovely. They were always supremely popular over the years. The last Munsch was done right before the pandemic, so almost exactly 5 years ago. It had to, of course, shut down. But we're thrilled to be bringing it back. Audiences love these shows. In fact, a couple of our board members, when we presented the season, they put up their hands and said, I was a Munsch kid. The reason I go to theater now is because I saw Munsch when I was 5 years old. And for me, that's an important reason for us to be doing it, is, it exposes young people to not just a really great time with their families, but also it exposes them to live theater. And then, hopefully that becomes a lifetime habit.
A great way to spend some time with your kids over the holidays.
It's so fantastic. I took my niece and nephew when they were young, and it's just, they're kooky. PTE really is a specialist in producing Munsch. Like, there's a lot of really great theater for young audiences in our town with Manitoba Theater for Young People, of course, but our expertise lies in Munsch, and there's just this kooky storytelling. We've got like fantastic props, like of course with Paper Bag Princess, there'll be the dragon and all those fun things. And it's really delightful for audiences.